Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, President, Founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which is sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. So I'd like to welcome you all to GSD Presents Top Global Startups, where I bring you the founders and visionaries building the future at scale. Today's episode is all about lean growth and big impact, how to take a challenger brand and turn it into a global force. I'm joined today by Kathryn Bricken, founder and CEO of Doughlicious, one of the fastest growing better for you frozen dessert brands in the world. From a gluten-free facility in London to over 6,000 plus retail locations in the US, including Whole Foods, Costco, Target, and Kroger, this is a masterclass in scaling smart. She brings a unique journey from Capitol Hill to consumer packaged goods, and now she's leveraging AI and technology to give lean brands the power of giants. So with that, I'd like to bring her onto the show. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Gary. Thank you for having me.
You know, you've had a fascinating journey from policy work to building a global CPG brand. What was the moment you knew Doughlicious had to break out potential?
Yeah, I went from Capitol Hill to then in Toronto, I worked for Borden Foods. And then got pregnant with twins. And I think working at Borden Foods and getting pregnant with twins was kind of the birth of Doughlicious, because it put me in the place to create something of my own, knowing what food was like, knowing the manufacturing process from Borden Foods, what made a product special, what would make it work on shelf and what wouldn't make it work on shelf, to then being forced to quit my job and become a mom for a little while and create something epic where I found white space in the on the shelves, and something that could go global, something that was interesting that wasn't out there.
You know, most people underestimate how hard CPG is. What's something about building a food brand at scale that people just don't understand?
Oh God, that's a good question. There's so much. I think the hardest part is hiring the right people. Hiring people, which, again, maybe that's going to come back to our AI of maybe there won't be those people to hire. We're just going to use AI for that. Hiring the right people and then managing them and making sure that they execute on your vision. It's really difficult.
You know, when you're in thousands of stores.
Mhm.
What was the single hardest inflection point in getting from zero to real distribution?
I think from zero to real distribution. Well, I mean, we grew slowly, which I think was quite smart. So I launched the product in the UK first, grew it across Europe, into the Middle East and Asia, and then I entered the US. So being able to grow it, I think people forget also how big the US is compared to these other countries, which are very small compared to the US. Um, it helped prepare me to what I would have to do from a marketing standpoint, to logistics, to just telling the buyers the story of what I created.
So how do you've scaled into thousands of doors without the resources of a legacy giant? What does lean growth mean to you?
Lean growth means keeping the team small, not overspending, and still trying to grow the brand, which is really hard.
Okay, so what are let's break it down. What are the three levers that really drive success today, from your opinion, in terms of consumer products goods?
I would have to say velocity. So selling more, going deep, not going wide. I don't think it's all about the doors. I think I made that mistake in going into too many doors without building the brand first. So I think you need to market so everybody knows about the brand, and then drive velocities in store. And it's harder than you think.
Well, I mean, you've done a great job. I mean, retail's not easy, that's for sure.
No, and I'm behind a freezer door. So to get people to go to that freezer door, open it, take our product and buy it, that's where it is a challenge. and
So
it's
when you
expensive.
so when you're dealing with somebody like Target, how do you go about getting to them? What is the way that you get in and say, "Go try it," or do they come to you?
Well, we've been really fortunate. When I launched the product, so I launched it as a ready to bake cookie dough in 2017. Then in 2019, I started innovating and I was going to create this epic ice cream sandwich with my better for you dough, no white sugars, no white flours. And then I decided I'm not going to create an ice cream sandwich. I'm going to wrap cookie dough around gelato because gelato has less fat, it's more dense, it's better, like has a better mouthfeel. And so in 2019, I launched that. And unbeknownst to me, it was recognized by Mintel and it won a global innovation for top frozen novelties in 2021. So I got
Well,
super lucky and people started coming to me. So I was getting inbounds. And I mean, till this day, I don't, maybe we've done 1 to 2 outreaches, but we've been lucky that all the retailers have come to us, you know, and that's a blessing, a curse thing, because going fast is not always the right option. And a lot of people is learn how to, because going too fast means just more money, more money, more money, and to keep on growing brand and awareness.
so how do you compete against massive incumbents that are spending you 10 to 1?
Yes, I don't. I try, and we try to be scrappy. But I can never compete. Like they can buy the end caps, they can buy the shelf space where we struggle to do that. So we try to be scrappy, use AI, use social media, um, con-
It went
so
off
the
for a
more
second. Sorry.
yeah, the more I can innovate and I can make I can gain attention by innovation, because these larger brands, they do not have the capability to do what we do with new flavors, and also from conception to launch is faster. There's no way that they can compete with that.
Well, I mean, that's it. You got to be scrappy, but these other things, the tools, these AI tools give you superpowers, right? Things that other
Yes.
people don't even comprehend.
Hmm.
And if you can orchestrate those at a different level, it changes everything. So, how do what's one growth strategy that worked far better than expected and one that failed?
So I think the growth strategy that worked the best was, which is crazy, but it's actually guerrilla. Get back to the basics, which I know is probably not what you want to hear with about AI, but it's sampling. People want to taste, and taste is our
So, do you
number
do those
one.
things like at Costco where you have those little sample carts? Because I like going in there and they got these.
Yes.
Do you do those things?
We're in Costco UK and Europe, so in Sweden, France. We are not in Costco US yet because we there's no way I could supply from across the pond, but we just started our manufacturing facility in the US, so now that's the plan. Hopefully we will grow into Costco US. But yes, we do sample in Costco, and when you do sampling, you see hockey stick growth. I mean, it works because our brand, and I think a lot of food is all about the taste. Like you could create the most epic packaging, you could create a story and tell that story across social media, but if it doesn't taste good, then you're not going to have the sales. So we sample in Whole Foods. We do about 75 a weekend, in every we do Chicago, Texas, Miami, New York, and LA, and Denver now. But in those, we do about 70 samplings, and we clear the shelves every time we do it, because the minute a customer tastes it, they're addicted and they want to have it. And then there's repeat purchase. So again, like just going back to the one thing that I think drives sales, and that actually drives more sales than meta ads for us, because we are not a D2C.
No, that sounds interesting. So, if we're starting Delicious today from scratch, how would you build it differently using AI from day one?
I would use AI to do more of my market research, which I think I would be able to find the trends and be a little more proactive than reactive. I still hold true to my what I built, that it's a better for you brand. And probably I would have used AI more for our call outs. Like, we have fiber. We are a source of fiber, but we don't even put that anywhere in our packaging. So knowing that I could find these attributes that are important to the customers beyond taste, I think would have been really helpful.
So, where do you see AI having the biggest impact? By the way, this is Evo asking this question, not me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
where do you
Yeah.
see AI having the biggest impact in CPG companies? The marketing,
hmm
supply chain, product development, retail relationships, or all of the above?
I would say all of the above, because we already use it now. Like, I'm debating right now, we're trialing hiring a social media manager to having Claude be our social media manager. And so far, Claude is doing a great job. We basically load in all of our brand strategy, our pillars, brands that we idolize, what they're doing, articles on Doughlicious, articles on what's trending, where we want to be. And Claude basically puts out a 2-month content creation calendar for us, which, I mean, sometimes we have to slightly tweak it, but it goes, I mean, from my content, what I should be talking about, to what the content creators, UGC. So it's actually really thorough and really neat. We also have built our own website through Claude Coding. And what we can do on there is we can forecast. So we drop in sales. It also can help us with inventory, production planning. It's actually quite amazing, the capabilities that we would have never known before.
So, how do you've been, it's been great. You've gotten into retailers like Costco. So, what have you learned working with major retailers like Whole Foods and Costco that founders need to understand before they walk into those rooms?
I think be prepared to know how well your brand is going to do to the best of your abilities,
Hmm.
because, and then also make sure that you can fulfill the orders. So know what your forecasts are going to be, know how well you're going to do, but don't over promise and under deliver. Because the worst thing that can happen, which did happen to us in the beginning, is we told them we were going to have all this product ready. The sales were going to be awesome. And the sales were awesome, but we couldn't deliver. We actually lost the whole West Coast because we couldn't get product on shelf. It was, we had complications with our logistics partners. We were shipping from the UK. And because there was no product on shelf, they took us off of all Rocky Mountain, SoCal, and in North California. So
Oh,
and then once you're off, it's harder to get back on.
so how do you maintain the brand identity while scaling that fast across geographies?
Oh, um, well, maintaining the brand identity. So I think what we constantly do is stick to one single messaging, which is a better for you snack. And sticking to that message, I think, is where, because if you try to do too many things, that's where it can go wrong.
Hmm.
And if I was, if I was the best protein product, then all I would focus on protein. I think you can't be too many. So that's why I have not entered into the protein zone, because we're oats, we're fiber, we're better for you. So less sugar. I would never do a no sugar, because I don't believe that there's something out there. Maybe well, I should say never, but maybe if there was something out there that wasn't a stevia, a xylitol, a erythritol, something like that, then I would maybe consider it. But I think sticking to your brand positioning and focusing on the one good thing that you do.
Do you have to have cultural sensitivities because one region may like something more than another region? How do you develop those sensitivities to understand what
Yeah.
that market's going to like?
Well, the short answer is you have 5 SKUs, and you have a core for the different regions, and you stick to that core, because you want to build the core and go deep on that core. So we have five, and some people like churro, some people don't like churro. So you give the slight option, but again, to keep your velocities strong, you need to stick to what you believe in. And I mean, you'll create things that won't do well, but I think it's important to learn early on what your core is and what works, and then if it's not working, get rid of it quickly.
What's an example of something you tried that didn't work?
So we tried, well, actually, I really think it would do well now, but we tried a blueberry frozen yogurt, and
Oh, that sounds tasty.
it was amazing. Like, I loved it. It was a
Hmm.
blueberry frozen yogurt with blueberry cookie dough with just a cookie crumb. And when people try it, they loved it, but we just couldn't get the masses to buy it. So as a brand, we decided to focus on more indulgent cookie dough, like cookie flavors. So our top sellers are, go figure, chocolate chip, and our chocolate truffle, which actually other podcasts, people have done a whole podcast on our chocolate truffle and how great it was, because all our bites are about 90 calories or less, or 90 calories to 100 calories. So 100 calories or less. And again, so like leading with that indulgence, but then trying to, so we would be better off doing like a white chocolate or a maybe even a snickerdoodle, or rather than a blueberry frozen yogurt.
Well, you're making me hungry. You let's
Yes, you need to go get some.
snickerdoodle. Yeah, but blueberry yogurt. That sounds great. So if you're going down through that, what has been the biggest challenge that you've had? Starting a company and getting started. Was it the capital? Was it being able to come up with a plan? What was the biggest? So for other founders who are out there, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, so I have two things that I think have been something that I've learned that I'd love to pass on. One of them is learn how to say no. You don't have to go everywhere so quickly, which I think is what one thing we did. I mean, because you have one chance to get into some of these supermarkets, and when you fail, then there's no chance again. Like the
What does
opportunity.
failure mean, Catherine? What does
Well,
failure mean? You can't produce enough product to be able to supply.
no, you can't get it off the shelf because we don't have enough brand awareness.
I
So
see.
we went into Albertsons stores, and some of them probably were not our demographic either. So
Mhm.
we didn't, but hey, it's Albertsons, they have a lot of stores, but there's shelf fees, so you spend a lot to get on shelf, and then it's all for waste if you can't drive the product. And the other thing is, like, a lot of product, they say it's on shelf, but unless you can pay for merchandising, you actually never know. So actually, speaking of AI, there's a really cool company that's just come out called Hetel, and it runs scanners down the aisles, scans for all your codes, so you actually on there and it's merchandised properly or not. So our code, it takes a picture and keeps going. So it won't merchandise it, but you'll know, because Gary, I can't tell you how many stores I've gone into and the product should be there, but it's not even there. And so a chain like Albertsons, which is fantastic, but how can I get feet on the ground in every Albertsons store? It's impossible. So without knowing if it's even there, the sales don't come through. We've paid all these shelf fees, and then it goes off shelf. So they discontinue it because they said, oh, we don't see large enough sales. But the fact of the matter is, I don't even know if it's on shelf.
Yeah, what about dynamic pricing? Have you talked about, do you do anything with dynamic pricing models and those kind of things?
No, we don't. We try to stick to we try to maintain single pricing just because it's easier for us. So no, we haven't done that.
And so finally, what does the next 3 to 5 years look like for Delicious from your perspective?
Well, so I need to go through a fund. I need to do another fundraising, because we've done what we need to do to get us to a certain point. But to going back to what you spoke about earlier, competing with the big guys, it is a fundraising game. Like, you need the that kind of dough, not cookie dough, to continue to grow. Um, so I see us continuing to grow, grow deep, become a household name. Like I would love everybody going home and when they talk to their parents or their partner, they say, "Hey, if you go to the supermarket, grab me some Doughlicious." And then they say, "Okay, which Doughlicious product?" So the plan is to continue to go strong on the core. But I mean, as we spoke about earlier, our love for animals, I've already created a doggy Doughlicious. So if you're going to bake one for you or your child, bake one for your fur baby. Like there's so many places I
My
can go.
fur baby, every time you go near the refrigerator, she comes out and she's very curious about what you're going to have, you know,
So
and she
why
wants.
wouldn't you? Right. Yeah, they want everything you have. So,
I know I would do it 100%, as long as it was healthy for her, absolutely, you
yeah.
know.
Well, it's
So
only oats. I mean, it's oats. So for the doggy one, it's oats with a banana gelato in it, which is it's very good. My doggies love it.
well, that's
So
great. I
So,
love
I mean,
that.
and then, yeah, so there's so many things. I've already created a savory line, which again, these are all in the library. So we just keep them there in files. And when the time is right, we're ready to bring it out to the masses. But right now, our focus is on giving the customer something that is better for you, that's snackable, that's modern, innovative, interesting, 100 calories or less, fiber, gelato. Who doesn't love gelato traveling to Italy? Now you can just have it inside your delicious ball, right?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, like I said, you're making me really hungry. So we're coming up to the top of the show. Kathryn, this has been incredible. What you're building is a perfect example of how lean teams, smart strategy, and AI can compete on a global stage. You've truly energized your company with the superpowers. If you're listening and
Yeah.
want to follow the journey, check out Doughlicious online and in stores near you. Closing thoughts, Kathryn, and how do people get a hold of you?
So find me on LinkedIn, Kathryn Bricken, and I'm always happy to help entrepreneurs. And if you have any questions from CPG, specifically food, I'll do all I can. Yeah, that's probably the best way. Or you follow me on Instagram too. And if you DM me, I'm always there. I'm a connector, so I love to help others because I think I got where I am today by people helping me.
So the AI, Eva says to me, ask you this question. If I gave you 10 million today, but took away your ability to use AI, would you still scale as fast?
Yes, because I would just do more sampling.
No, that sounds great. And I think that's a great answer. I appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And thanks to all of you. We're now at 1,700 podcasts globally. We're in 73 countries around the world. And it's all because of you. Kathryn, thanks for sharing your wisdom. Thanks for sharing your exciting journey. Thanks for telling us and spending time with us. If you want to stay on after the show for a few minutes, that would be great to
Yep.
wrap up with you. And all of you, stay healthy, stay safe, and
Yeah.
stay healthy. And I'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary.